You've read the books. You've chanted the affirmations in your bathroom mirror. You've visualized your success so hard you gave yourself a headache. You've followed the modern gospel of self-help. Set relentless goals, cultivate unwavering positive thinking, and bulldoze through any obstacle through sheer force of will. So why are you still feeling so exhausted? There's a quiet crisis in the world of personal development. Many of us have achieved what we were told to want, only to find ourselves in a gilded cage of our own making, successful, yet unfulfilled. Productive, yet profoundly drained. The problem isn't you. The problem is that the foundational model of Western self-help, built on a culture of more, is fundamentally flawed. It operates on a simple, forceful equation: input more effort, get more output. But what if this very effort is the obstacle? Over 2 millennia ago, the great Taoist sages like Lao Tzu and Chang Tzu uncovered a radically different path to power and peace. They understood a secret that modern science is only now beginning to validate. True transformation does uncome from adding more, but from subtracting what is unnecessary. It doesn't come from fighting your nature, but from aligning with it. This is the core of the Taoist art of being. The modern self-help paradigm is a state of perpetual Wu Wei forced, striving action. It's a philosophy of the hammer, seeing every problem as a nail. It tells you to think positive when you're grieving, to push harder when you're burned out, to fake it till you make it. When you feel like an imposter, this creates a deep internal schism. You become a battlefield where your authentic feelings are the enemy, and your ego is the general forcing a victory through psychological warfare. The Taoist approach offers a profound alternative: Wu Wei, or effortless action. This is the cornerstone of a different kind of power, one that doesn't drain you, but replenishes you as you use it. Consider these common self-help scenarios through a Taoist lens. The goal-obsessed grind. You're told to set a huge, audacious goal and chase it with relentless focus. The Taoist master would ask, are you like the farmer who pulls on his crops to make them grow faster? Wu Wei is not about inaction. It's about preparing the soil, planting the seed, and providing water and sunlight, then trusting the natural process of growth without constant, anxious interference. The tyranny of positive thinking. You're instructed to eliminate all negative thoughts. But Taoism, through its embrace of yin and yang energy, understands that darkness is necessary to define light. Sadness gives depth to joy. Doubt tempers certainty. To reject half of your emotional spectrum is to live a half-life. The goal isn't to be positive, but to be whole. The burden of the best self. You repressured to constantly optimize yourself into a perfect, polished version. Chang Tzu would laugh at this artificial construct. He spoke of the uncarved block pu, the beauty and power of being in your natural, essential state. The relentless pursuit of a better you implies the current you is inadequate. Taoism starts from the radical premise that you are already enough, and your work is to remember that, not to earn Italiano. This is the first and most crucial shift, from a mindset of forcing to a mindset of allowing, from trying to command the river to learning to swim with its current. In the next part, we will dismantle the 3 biggest myths of Western self-help and replace them with timeless Taoist practices that lead not to a temporary high, but to abiding peace. The 3 great self-help delusions and their Taoist antidotes. The modern self-help industry thrives on selling solutions to problems it often helps create. It has time to expose the 3 most pervasive delusions that keep us trapped in cycles of striving and dissatisfaction, and reveal the counterintuitive Taoist wisdom that offers a way out. Delusion 1. The myth of forceful positivity. The Western prescription: eliminate negative thoughts, maintain a positive mindset at all costs. The Taoist antidote: embrace the full spectrum with yin and yang energy. The command to be positive is a form of psychological violence against our authentic selves. It asks us to amputate half of our human experience. In the Taoist view, this is not only impossible, but profoundly unnatural. The cosmos itself operates on the dynamic interplay of yin and yang, day and night, activity and rest, expansion and contraction. The Tao Te Ching states, when everyone recognizes beauty as beautiful, there is already ugliness. This simple line contains a universe of wisdom. The very act of labeling something positive automatically creates its opposite, negative. By chasing one and rejecting the other, we set ourselves up for an endless, exhausting battle. The Taoist practice is not to resist negative emotions, but to let them flow through you with awareness. Anger, sadness, and fear are not enemies to be defeated. They are information to be acknowledged. They are the yin to your yang. By allowing yourself to feel the full depth of your sorrow, you create the capacity to experience the full height of your joy. This is the beginning of Taoist alchemy, transforming the lead of resisted emotions into the gold of integrated wholeness. Delusion 2. The cult of the grandiose goal, the Western prescription. Set huge, audacious goals. Your success is limited only by your vision. The Taoist antidote. Practice Wu Wei and value the useless. We are taught to worship the distant peak of the mountain, obsessing over the summit, while stumbling and exhausting ourselves on the path. Taoism redirects our attention to the next single, natural step. Wu Wei is the art of taking that step with perfect timing and minimal friction. Chang Tu famously spoke of the useless tree. While lumberjars passed it by for its gnarled, knotty wood that was unsuitable for their purposes, the tree lived to a great old age, providing shade and shelter precisely because it was useless by conventional standards. Modern self-help is obsessed with being a straight, tall, useful tree that gets chopped down for timber. The Taoist question is, are your goals nourishing your life, or are you sacrificing your life for your goals? Instead of a rigid, forceful 5-year plan, cultivate a clear intention and then respond with flexibility to the opportunities and obstacles that naturally arise. Do not push the river, sense its current, and steer within it. This is the application of the Taoist art of Wu Wei, accomplishing more by straining less. Delusion 3. The optimization of the false self, the Western prescription. Build your personal brand, become the best version of yourself. The Taoist antidote, return to two, uncarved, block Pu. The modern self is often a curated performance, a patchwork of optimized habits, crafted identities, and social media personas. This constructed self is fragile, requiring constant maintenance and validation. It is the epitome of Wu Wei, a forced, artificial creation. Taoism invites you to shed this exhausting performance and return to Pu, the uncarved block. This is your original nature, before it was carved up by social expectations, comparison, and the need to be someone. Lao Tzu revered the qualities of softness, flexibility, and humility, the sapul bamboo that survives the storm while the mighty oak cracks. The goal is not to build a better, shinier ego. The goal is to quiet the ego enough to hear the whisper of your essential nature. This is not a project of addition, but of subtraction, subtracting opinions, subtracting desires for external validation, subtracting the need to control. It is a journey back to your own simple, authentic being, the Taoist art of being that requires no proof or presentation. In the final part, we will translate these philosophical antidotes into a practical framework for living a way to replace the exhausting self-help checklist with a more fluid, forgiving, and profoundly effective way of being in the world. The Effortless Framework, a Taoist guide to modern living. Understanding the flaws in our modern approach to self-improvement is the first step. But how do we actually embody this Taoist wisdom in our daily lives? How do we move from the exhausting pursuit of an idealized future to the peaceful mastery of our present reality? The answer lies not in adopting another rigid set of rules, but in cultivating a new way of perceiving and responding to the world. This is a framework built on the principle of collaboration with life rather than conquest of it. 1. Cultivate inner perception over external affirmation. The first practice is to shift your primary focus from the external world of achievement and validation to the internal world of sensation and intuition. Modern self-help tells you to constantly check your progress against external metrics. Taoism teaches you to check in with yourself. The practice, several times a day. Pause for just one breath and ask a simple Taoist-informed question. Does this feel like forcing Wu Wei? or does it feel like flowing Wu Wei? Apply this to everything. When making a decision, feel for the option that brings a sense of inner ease and rightness, not just the one that looks most impressive on paper. In conversation, notice if you are forcing your point or patiently allowing the dialogue to unfold. At work, discern between productive action and busy work, driven by anxiety. This cultivates the Taoist art of being present. You begin to make choices based on alignment with your inner nature, not on external pressures. This is the foundation of Taoist alchemy, transforming your life from the inside out. 2. Practice the yin rituals in a young world. Our culture is overwhelmingly young-loud, fast, and demanding. To counterbalance this, we must consciously and deliberately invite yin, the energy of quiet, slowness, and receptivity into our days. These are not luxuries. They are non-negotiable necessities for sustainability. The practice: build small, consistent yin rituals into your routine. The unproductive walk. Take a 10-minute walk with no destination, no step counting, and no podcast. Simply walk and perceive the world around you. Technology fasting. Designate the first hour after waking and the last hour before bed as screen-free sanctuaries. This creates space for your mind to settle and your own thoughts to emerge. Single tasking. Drink your tea and only drink your tea. Eat your lunch and only eat your lunch. In a world that glorifies multitasking, doing one thing at a time is a radical act of yin presence. These practices are not about doing nothing. They are active investments in replenishing your yin and yang energy, creating the inner stillness required for true clarity and creativity to arise. 3. Redefine power as influence, not force. Western self-help often equates power with control and dominance. Taoism offers a more sophisticated and ultimately more effective definition. True power is influence through alignment. It is the power of water, which is soft and yielding, yet cuts through canyons and shapes continents. The practice: in situations where you instinctively want to force an outcome, pause and ask, how can I achieve this through alignment rather than force? Instead of demanding a child do their homework, create an environment of calm focus that naturally invites concentration. Instead of aggressively pushing a colleague to see your point, plant the seed of an idea and allow it time to take root. Instead of fighting against a period of low energy, honor it as a necessary yin phase for consolidation and rest, trusting that the energy for yang action will return. This is the practical application of the Taoist art of Wu Wei. You become like a master sailor who trims the sails to harness the wind's power, rather than a rower exhausting themselves against the current. Conclusion: the end of the search and the beginning of the path, the frantic search for the next self-help hack, is itself a form of yueya, for striving for a solution that remains forever out of reach because we are looking in the wrong direction. Taoism ends this exhausting search by revealing that the peace, power, and purpose we seek are not distant goals to be achieved, but are already present as our birthright, waiting to be uncovered through a process of gentle unfolding. This is the ultimate Taoist secret of loving acceptance of what is, a loving trust in the natural process of your own life, and a loving release of the struggle. At Karmafu, we create our artifacts with this intention. A yin-yang necklace is not a charm to magically bring balance, but a tangible reminder worn close to your skin to return to this very moment, to remember the dance of opposites, and to choose the path of effortless power. It is an anchor for the wisdom explored here. The journey is not about becoming someone else. It is about returning to who you have always been. It is about replacing the exhausting noise of constant self-improvement with the quiet, confident, and enduring hum of a life lived in harmony with the Tao. Stop trying to build a perfect life and start allowing your authentic life to emerge. The way is not in the pushing, but in the perceiving, and that makes all the difference.